Welcome to the Breakdown. I'm your host, Diane Rembert, avid reader, award winning literary blogger, and the founder of Diamonds Literary World, which is my footprint in the literary industry. Today, I want to talk to you about book one of a trilogy. It's actually called Murderville, first of a trilogy, by New York Times best-selling authors, because they are both New York Times best-selling authors. It's important to note that Ashley Antoinette and her husband, JaQuavis Coleman. For those of you who are new to this and you're new to my channel, I lovingly call them the dynamic duo of literature, of the African American literary industry. So, let's get into Murderville. I want to, when I tell you guys about a book, I'd like to tell you the backstory. I met Ashley and JaQuavis for the first time at the Harlem Book Fair. I want to say maybe 2016, maybe. And that's where I got Murderville. I got book one from them. And since then, I have acquired book two and three, which you'll hear me talk about soon. And they sat on my shelf and sat on my shelf. My literary twin, we talk about books, we recommend books back and forth to one another. And I knew that it was time for me to show some love to the Colemans. If you pay attention to Diamond's Literary World, you know that JaQuavis gave me such a, oh my God, he left a comment on one of my previous videos that just absolutely just made my day. He said something about how I was what the African American literary industry needed, and I was like, you know what? Let me stop what I'm doing. I've got to show some love to the Colemans. So, Murderville, Murderville, Murderville. This book starts out in Sierra Leone. And there were a bunch of soldiers who would come and take over territory, villages, if you will, and they would kill the men. They would rape the women, sometimes rape the children. But, once in a while, they took a young girl, and they took her to cook and clean, for their benefit as they travel from village to village. Well, so was the case with, and let me make sure I get this right, Ashai and his father raided the village where Liberty and her parents were living in. And so everyone was killed, and his father was going to, I don't want to tell you because I want you guys to go and get it, but let me just give you a little snippet. There was going to be a different story for Liberty, and Ashai, he saved her. And they, at this point, he had eyes for her. And but he didn't want anything to happen to her, so he kind of felt like her protector. And they became friends. And for them, they were young. They were about 10, maybe. So for them, it was puppy love is what we call it. And so they're running now, trying to escape Ashai's father, who is now trying to have his way with Liberty. And Ashai is like, no, that's not going to happen. So they run, and they're, trying to escape, like I said, his father and the soldiers. And they come across this boat. And they see these children playing, and all looks well. And this lady approaches them and asks them if they're hungry, because she does realize that, they're malnourished. And she's like, oh, you can come on the boat, and have fun with the other kids. We'll give you candy. We'll give you food. Well, they didn't know. And they go on this boat, Murderville. unbeknownst to them, these children were taken and forced to into slavery. Some were used for sex, some were used for um, to work, if you will. So Liberty, she was, very beautiful. So her fate was chosen for her to become a sex slave. And Ashai, he he was amongst a group of guys, and what they would do is they worked, but then they also, a part of their job was to lure American tourists, and rob and steal from them. And they stumbled across the wrong lady one day. And long story short, he saved her from what was about to happen. She was forever grateful, and they ended up adopting him. Now, you'll have to read the book to find out why. I'm trying not to give it away to you because I want you to go and get it, but this book was absolutely amazing. So well written. Oh my God. Absolutely loved it. And so he's, Americanized. He's brought back to America, and he's educated. He's brought into the family business, with his dad, who is, I guess you would call him a kingpin. And so, but he gets his education in order to please his mom. That's what he does. She takes such a liking to him because they have similar backgrounds. Okay, so it's years later, and Liberty and Ashai, their paths cross again. Now, again, you have to read the book to find out how, but their paths cross again. And the love, the puppy love that they have, that spark, was rekindled however many years later. And Ashai promises Liberty that he's going to protect her, he's going to love her, and he does all of this. He even goes as far as he is ostracized, or his father turns his back on him when he brings Liberty home, because he's like, you went through all of these lengths for a prostitute. But to Ashai, she's much more than a prostitute. This is his friend. This is the young girl that he developed feelings for years and years ago. So, it was much more than that to him, and he showed her in every way possible. Now, Liberty makes a statement that it really touched my heart. She said, we had a perfect love, and there was a situation that arose. And she said this was the imperfection or the flaw in our perfect love. And it kind of choked me up a little bit. But let me tell you, you have to go get this book. I hurried up. My book, too, is sitting right over there. If you remember my book tour, it's on one of those bookshelves across the room. But it's over there. I pulled it off, and I've got one or two other commitments I have to complete, and then I will be moving on to book 2. I had no idea. And I promise you, if someone had told me, that I still would not have been prepared for how amazing this book is. So please go and pick up Murderville by New York Times. It's first of a trilogy from the minds of Ashley and JaQuavis. Like I said, give them their flowers while they're here. New York Times best-selling authors, Ashley and JaQuavis. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you have not done so, please take a moment and do so now. Until next time, happy reading, guys, and be blessed.